Are you ready to have your website get found by the right people? Are you looking to rank at the top of Google so you get more traffic to your website? Are you ready to learn how to use SEO and content marketing to grow your organic traffic? If so, you are in the right place, my friend. Welcome to the Simple SEO Content Podcast. Hi there. Welcome back to the podcast. I want to talk to you this week about podcasting. And I know last week we talked about podcast discoverability tips, and we talked a little bit about if you don't yet have a podcast, like why it's important. And I really want to dig into that today because I believe that your business needs a podcast. I think that adding a podcast was the best decision that I have made from a marketing standpoint in a long time. I've had mine going on 2 years. I'm coming up on episode 150, and it has been phenomenal. I'm actually coming up on year 3. I'm in season 3 of the podcast. This show right here has helped me connect with you. It has helped me connect with new people, new listeners, expanded my reach. It has brought money into the business, and it can do the same thing for you. So let's talk about kind of why podcasting is such a great tool for you as a business owner, and why I do truly believe that it would be beneficial for you in most circumstances to have a podcast and add it to your marketing mix. And don't look at this and think, or listen to this and think, oh my gosh, Rachel, I do not have the time for one more piece of content, okay? You're going to continue to use your same core content and you're going to repurpose it. So if you start with a blog like I do, I always write my blog post first, and then I use my blog post as my outline for my podcast. I don't script it. Some people do. They script word for word and they read it. And you know what? I feel like most of the people who do that sound very monotone and very boring, and there's like nothing there that's really unique or different or new. So I always do mine just from an outline, and I have 5 or 6 bullet points that I want to make sure that I hit on, and then I share stories and I tell you and I teach you. And I feel like we're having a conversation, and it's just you and I, and we're chatting and we're talking about, hey, this would be really beneficial, or hey, make sure you do this. And I know that you listen to the podcast, and I know that you binge the episodes because you tell me. And I love when you tell me that, Rachel, I found your podcast. I started listening. I started implementing what I was learning. I've seen this result. I've had this result. I've had this happen. I got an email the other day from a listener who said, I have been listening to you for a while now, and I love it, and I'm doing everything that you've taught. I want to take simple SEO content. I'm not quite ready. Hopefully, she's going to join in the September cohort. Otherwise, she's going to have to wait until January. But it's really here to help you learn. And it's the same thing for you having one for your business. Podcasting really helps you be discovered. It helps with visibility. And if we're being completely honest, there is a visibility issue if you're not doing your SEO for Google and now AI search. You have to be doing both. If you're not doing SEO yet, you are not going to be as visible on Google. You're not going to get as much traffic because so much is now going to other Google properties. If you haven't taken the free class, you haven't learned how all this works, when I launch it again in January, be sure to go through it to really understand, because if you're not doing it now, you are going to struggle to be visible and get traffic in the coming year. So it's going to be really important. A podcast gives you one more place to catch your audience, one more place to be found. This is really important in today's online marketing world. We need to cast a wide net so that we can find people where they're spending time. The other thing I like about a podcast compared to, let's say, social media is that with a podcast, you get to become part of somebody's routine. If they find you, they listen, they like you, they start to look for your show. They follow your show. They get it downloaded in their app for them each week. Social media, they may or may not see your post, even if they like you, even if they follow you, even if they engage with you. Most people never see your content. Like 2% of your audience actually sees your content. With a podcast, everybody who opts in and says, I want to follow the show, gets it downloaded in their podcast app when you go live. So that's part of it, is just you get to become part of their world. The other thing is it really helps you build this connection. It is a really great way to build a loyal audience because now if you're consistent and you're releasing an episode every week or every 2 weeks or every month, whatever your cadence is, they get to know you. They start to look forward to it. I have people tell me all the time, okay, Rachel, I've binged every episode that you have, and now I need a new one. When is the new one coming? And I always say, it's easy. It's coming on Tuesday. It will be there waiting for you in your podcast app on Tuesday morning. I release mine about 1 a.m. on Tuesday so that they're there in the app Tuesday morning for everybody. They're an easy way for you to build that audience. They're a way for you to build that loyalty. They find you, they discover you through the app if you've done podcast SEO. Then they find you, they start listening to you, they become loyal audience members. And then when they're ready to buy, they're ready to convert because they've come to you for so long and you've helped them, you've guided them, you've given them so many tips. Now they're more likely to want to buy from you. And I have this happen to me all the time. I have one-on-one clients, I have students, I have people who were in my small group who've said, I first found your podcast. I fell in love with your podcast. My podcast makes money every single month. Your podcast can too. And it's not like I'm saying, hey, to brag about it, but just my podcast generates money for the business the same way that the SEO that I do on the website and the blog content that I create does. And I want that for you too. I'm showing you what's possible for your business if you do these things. So it allows us to stay top of mind. It allows us to be part of their world. Then when they're ready to convert, they're more likely to convert with you because they're used to you. They know that they like your teaching style. They've spent time with you. You've gone on their car rides with them. They've gone on their walks with you, whatever it is. They feel like they have a connection. And that's so helpful, especially in today's world, because we're in what people are terming a trust recession, especially within the online marketing industry, the online world. There were so many bro marketers. There were so many companies out there, people out there who really took advantage of their audiences. They really didn't deliver what they promised. They gave grandiose promises, but they really didn't have much to back them. A lot of them are starting to leave. They're starting to get found out, which is really good. But so many people have been burnt. So it's really important that you provide that value and connect with them, and a podcast can help you do that. The other thing is the buying cycle is getting longer. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I definitely have. It used to be that I could generally somebody would come into my course within about a week of joining my email list. And this year I've noticed that conversion cycle is getting longer. People are taking a couple of free classes before they're joining and paying for something. Maybe they're asking more questions. People need more confidence in what they're investing in. And so having a podcast where you're part of their world each week can definitely help. The other thing I want you to understand is that a podcast is a long-term visibility tool. So when you're active on social media, great, you're active in that moment. But if somebody doesn't see your social post, they're not likely going to find it 6 months down the road. But with a podcast, as long as you understand and are doing SEO, you can get downloads for your episodes 6 months, 12 months, 2 years later, 5 years later. As long as you're creating content that's evergreen, meaning it's still going to be relevant and applicable in the future, you really are not limited. So me personally, I still get downloads every single week, every single month for old episodes. I get the majority of the downloads definitely are for this week's episode, but I also see downloads for episodes from up to 2 to 3 years ago when the podcast first started. What's really interesting is that those early episodes have significantly more downloads today than they ever did when they were first released. Because when I first released those episodes, I was not doing SEO on the podcast. I just was podcasting. And so my results were as average as yours are in the very beginning, unless you take Simple Podcast SEO and you let me teach you exactly what I've done to 5x my podcast downloads. But in the more than that now, in the very beginning, they didn't get a ton of downloads. It was a brand new show. People they were listening, but it wasn't really big. But once I started doing SEO and then I went back and I optimized all my old episodes, those podcasts now have 10 to 20 times the downloads that they had in the beginning, maybe even more than that. And I know that those downloads have come in after the fact because I remember what those numbers were like in the early days. So that's something I want you to understand is like it can drive traffic, visibility, bring people into your world, all of those episodes working together. I'm coming up close on number 150. We'll hit 150 in early October. I now have 140 some episodes that are driving visibility. People can find in the podcast app, they can download, they can listen, they can get to know me and come into my world and start to binge it and listen to everything that's there. And then they are ready to convert because now they've had all that content, all those interactions. They've heard me in their ears or in the car so many times. They know they like my teaching style. And that, my friend, is what is possible for you as well. The other thing that's so great about a podcast is that it can really help to position you as an expert in your niche. You know what you know, and you are so good at it. But until other people know and see and understand and learn and hear, they don't maybe know how amazing you are. So having that podcast can help people see how great you are. It also can open up opportunities for you if you want to say guest podcast and you want to go on other people's podcasts, which is a great way to build your audience as well, because now you're connecting on somebody else's show with people who are interested in listening to podcasts, who are interested in what you talk about. Some of them are going to come back and listen to your show as well. So like I said, you don't need to create new content each week for a podcast. You will repurpose your blog post. You'll then create your podcast episode, then your email, and then you send it out. And now you have a bigger net to capture people and more potential visibility between Google, ChatGPT, and now your podcast app. So make sure you're doing this. If you don't yet have a podcast for your business, I want you to start one. I want you to plan on it. 2026, I am going to launch a podcast. I want you to either work with me one-on-one. We can create your podcast launch plan and get it all squared together in elite coaching, or take Simple Podcast SEO. It is a self-study course. It's going to walk you through what you need to do from a launch standpoint. There's a best practices launch module for you. It's a bonus that'll walk you through how to start a podcast and then go through the course. And it's going to cover everything you need to know about what your art should look like, what you should cover on your podcast, keywords, episode titles, just all of it. And it's only $297. It's self-study. It's a quick one. It'll really give you that push to get your podcast out into the world and ranking, meaning discoverable, having people find it in the apps, having people potentially find it on Google, having people potentially find it via ChatGPT, getting more downloads, nurturing your customers, and then you can start to think about how you're going to monetize it. Because once you have your podcast and it's going and you've laid the right foundation, then we get into monetization. All right, that is it for today. I want to thank you so much for listening. I hope you're excited at the thought of launching a podcast for your business. If you have any questions, you can always DM me on Instagram or reply back to an email. I will answer them. I check my own inbox. All right, bye for now. Thank you. Have a good day, and I'll see you next week. That's all for today's episode of the Simple SEO Content Podcast. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you visit my website, etchedmarketing.com, and visit the freebies tab. Right there, you're going to find the SEO Content Quick Start Guide along with the free SEO class. So you'll have everything you need to know to get started with SEO and content marketing. Then do me a favor, if you wouldn't mind, if you would do a rating and a review of this podcast on your favorite platform. That would really help spread the message, and I do greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, you can always DM me on Instagram at Etched Marketing Academy, and I will see you right back here next week.